Alright, what is up, you guys? This is the Fallout What If here, and today I'm going to be doing the What If Issei was in the High School DxD Part 4. Now, I'm going to keep saying this in the beginning instead of the end because I like just saying, I like using my ending without having to go and, what is it called? I like using the ending without having to do certain things. Alright, now, let's begin, people. Where we last left off, Issei and Riser were going to fight. Now, well, Issei made a deal with Riser into fighting him into, well, getting a bet to do some, I forgot what it was again. As far as I remembered, it had to do something with Rias, and not only that, yeah, it had something to do with just with Rias because Serzex told him about the marriage deal between Riser and Riser's family and Rias's family. Now, Issei and them are going to have a 14-day training arc. Now, we're gonna get to some of the training arc, but mostly it's gonna be about the fighting too. Mostly just fighting, but we're gonna get to the training and how it starts. Now, Issei and Rias are talking a bit after introducing the whole peerage to Issei, telling him everything about Riser and his, well, peerage. Issei, knowing already how this works and seeing how Riser fights, using his Phoenix powers and using magic. But what's it called? What Riser doesn't know is that Issei lied to him. Told him that he doesn't know anything about his fighting, the way he fights, and he's never seen a raiding game that involved Riser, which made Riser cocky, and that's what Issei wanted him to do, to slip up. And Rias asks him, how is he going to fight? Because he has one arm, and he says, Rias, the only reason why the reason why I'm gonna fight him is because I've been working on something. And Rias tells him asks him what does he mean by it. Issei says, well, first off, I want to tell you this. If you ever need help, just ask somebody to help you out. Ask for the help instead of waiting until they die and then trying to resurrect them into joining your peerage. Issei tells what's called Rias this. Rias looks on in embarrassment and in shock, asking him how does he know. What happens is BT and Drake actually step in. BT and Drake actually are good, like buddy now. Drake asks him questions and BT responds to the best of his knowledge, but Drake has a respect for him because he doesn't lie to him, nor does he ever keep any secrets to the best of his knowledge. The only secret that they have on Issei is the fact that they know who gave him the who they gave BT to. Yeah, the only thing that they know is that BT was just another sacred gear instead of being born out of, well, Azazel. Yeah, Azazel. Now, what Issei does is tells him that he has the Red Dragon Emperor, and he has this one person named BT, which gives him these abilities that have something to do with Titans and cores. And Rias asks him what abilities does he have, and I'll go off a few right now. One of them has to do with something called a fire shield, or the flame shield, which shoots out a wall of fire that spreads out, and then, well, it protects them from projectiles and incoming attacks. And if anybody is dumb enough to try to take a whack at him with their bare hands, they're gonna be met with scalding hot fire, which would technically, in any case, melt human skin in approximately 5 seconds or less. Now, not only that, Issei shows them something called grapple hook. Basically, he has the ability to shoot out a grapple hook out of his hands, making him kind of like Spider-Man in some way, but you know, it's not like it works. It doesn't work like that, but it works like that. He can't shoot out a bunch of grappling hooks and swing around the webs. No, it just pulls him, and not only that, he can he can do different things, but mostly he just uses the grappling hook. Sorry if I kind of messed this up a bit. Anyway, another power ability he has is to turn invisible for a couple of seconds. Another one is to basically make 3 of him, kind of giving him a couple of abilities of actual pilots. Not only that, the ability to shoot out waves of electricity, stunning his opponents, called an arc wave. Not only that, he has what is it called? He can shoot out a couple of tags out of his hands, which will create a weird chemical toxin that can explode or catch on fire if somebody shoots out a fireball or sparks to it. That is one of the main abilities that he has. Like, the abilities he can use, but not as much, since technically in Titanfall universe, if you ever play as a Titan, there's a cooldown to it, so he can't just do it all the time. Not only that, the other 2 abilities that he also has that I'm gonna just give out for right now is the ability to dash, and also to use a kinetic force field. Basically, with the kinetic force field, he has the ability to grab onto any like projectiles or attacks that he has on himself, and dash is basically making him twice as fast for the next 15 seconds. Not only that, if I were to give you one more ability, he can turn transparent, or not transparent. He can actually go into this weird. He has this power to turn his whole body intangible for a couple of seconds and turn him invisible. And the only thing you can see is a blue light, like a little bit of a blue light, like people could barely see it, but it gets him out of a situation. Gets him out of situations. So that's pretty much it for right now. Now we're gonna head off to the training arc. Issei and Rias talk a little bit more, and he does tell them that he has a trump card that will give him immense power, but he's not going to use it yet until he's 100% sure that he's going to need it. So, hold on here. Anyway, Issei trains with there's Akane with Rias' peerage. He actually gets into a fighting stance because he wants to actually see how well he could do with multiple people, and not only that, what he could do, what they can do. See how they can fight and actually beat Riser. Now, Konako actually goes first, and Issei says, "Oh, hi. Hey, Konako." He says, "Oh, hey, Konako. How you doing? I don't want to fight you because, I don't want to actually, beat you up, but please go easy on me." Konako says, "Alright, I'll go easy on you," and grabs a couple of big rocks and just throws it at Issei. Issei actually saying, "I thought you said you were going to take it easy on me." Starts jumping out of the way and shooting his firewall towards the rocks that are trying to hit him. Konako says, "I am doing that, but I'm also gonna have to beat you." Issei says, "Oh, you're no fun," and actually has to run towards Konako and try to punch her. But with Konako being a little bit more shorter and being not faster than Issei, but she has a fighting style and Issei doesn't. You see, because he doesn't actually train in actual combat. He just uses his abilities and just tries to hit them. So that is something that Issei needs to work on. and he needs to, instead of having his devil senses, his senses is twice as high, is twice better, twice as good. Well, 2 times better than anyone, but it's not it's not nearly enough for, like, it's not even like as strong as a devil's sensory. Like the sense of a devil and the senses of a issei are way different. So with issei trying his best to dodge and move around, issei does get punched in the stomach, causing him to fall back and getting hit by the tree. Issei says that you're actually very strong, and this is when Kiba is saying right behind you. Looking at Kiba, he actually gets slashed in the back. Now, Issei goes and tries to actually defend from these two. One always going behind him, and one always attacking him head on. This is when Issei says that this is actually kind of fun. Runs towards starts running towards Konako at top speed using one of his dashes. Now, like I said before, his power is pretty. The powers that he possesses is pretty much unlimited. The only thing that he has that kind of screws him out, or that basically the only flaw that he has with using unlimited power is a cooldown time. So the main ability, like his minor abilities, will give like 15 seconds to 20 seconds, while his abilities that he uses need to be charged up, and that would take like what, 2 to 3 minutes right there, which is even worse because if a battle between Riser and Issei were to happen, he would need to shorten that time limit. But he's training himself on how to do it. Now, this is when Issei goes towards Konako, and the moment she tries to punch him, Issei actually just stops and actually lets Konako's punch almost hit, but because she's short, she can't actually hit him because of the range. So this is when Issei actually grabs her and actually kicks her in the head. Her actually being dazed, Issei sees Kiba and just grabs Konako and puts it in front of Kiba, stopping his attack. Issei actually jumping up and kicking him in the face. This is when Kiba's on top of in the air, and Issei just throws Konako using his kinetic abilities to just slingshot her into the air, hitting Kiba in the process. Both of them getting hurt. Rias is actually impressed by how Issei took charge of that situation and used it into his advantage. This is when Akeno actually starts to get ready to fight Issei, and this is when Issei says, "Oh, hi Bucho," or not? Is that technically? He would say senpai a bit. Yeah, he would say senpai, and this is when Akeno says, "Oh, look at that. I actually think that he's doing well. But you have to go against me now, Issei." And this is when she starts, this is when electricity pours out of her a bit. And Issei says, "Please go easy on me." And this is when she says, "Nope, I can't do that. Sorry, but I actually want to take my time when it comes to you. What would she say, actually? My junior." Licking her lips, Issei notices that she's kind of crazy, but not crazy. This is when Ria says, "You have to be prepared for her. She's not your average, she's not your average devil." And this is when Issei says, "What is she?" Ria returns the question with an answer, saying, "She's a sadist and a masochist." And Issei says, "Oh boy." And Issei just starts trying to run away, trying to find a plan on how to stop this. Kiba and Konako get up, and Rias, they ask Rias if they can go chase after Issei. what is it called? Rhea says, "Of course, I'm actually gonna join momentarily after you guys finish up with him. Hopefully, you do well, and well, protect what's her name, Akano, from hurting Issei a lot." And this is when they say, "All right." They start chasing after him too. But while this is happening, Issei is saying, "I need your power, BT." BT saying, "All right." Calibrating new weapon or new device. And he sees something, or he technically feels it on his back. This is when Issei says, "What? The jetpack?" And this is when this is when BT says, "It's not a jetpack. It's a it's a jumping equipment." And Issei says, "I don't follow." This was used during the time where people with abilities to move around freely use their powers. Not like yours and Rias's, but they had abilities to move around freely, to jump, to fly a little bit, hover. It's basically called Jump Kit. And this is when Issei says, "All right, so what do I do?" And this is when this is when BT says, "Jump around a bit, and you will find a way how to jump and double jump without having to use too much of your stamina." And this is when Issei jumps, but with the height, his abilities to jump even higher, he jumps up, hitting a branch, causing him to hit his stomach and say, "This is how it works, BT." And this is when BT says, "Are you okay?" And Issei says, "Never been better." This is when he gets off of the branch and almost gets shocked by electricity. This is when Issei says, "All right, where did that come from?" And this is when he sees Akano right there. And this is when he just starts running towards her, saying, "Sorry, Akano, but I have to fight you." And this is when Akano just starts using electricity, trying to attack Issei, but Issei jumping up a lot, using his grappling hook and grabbing her. He tries to pull her down, but this is when Akano just grabs grab his grappling hook and just shoots out electricity, causing him to actually be incapacitated for a bit, causing him to try to get up, but his muscles are shaken a bit by the electricity. Issei says, "She used electricity, and it was my fault." BT says, "There is a way how to fend for yourself on this, but you'll need the dragon's help." Issei says, "All right, I'm game." And this is when Drake says, "Concentrate your power, child." And Issei says, "Oh, Drake's here now." And this is when Drake says, "You could be a little bit more you can give him a little bit more gratitude by telling me how desperately you need me to help you out in this fight." And Issei says, "Well, thanks for helping me out, buddy." And Drake says, "Anyway, concentrate my power into your left arm." Or was it his right arm? It was actually his right arm, since his left arm was taken. I forgot which arm, but just know it's his valid arm. And this is when he concentrates, and it becomes the one that when he fought Rainier in the original series, when he fought Rainier, that's what it looks like. And he says, "What does this arm do?" And Drake says, "Use my power and control it. You have the ability to boost, causing your all your what's called." Sorry about that. Need to take a breather. he tells Issei to use his powers and to concentrate on boosting. This will double his abilities for every 10 seconds. And this is when Issei goes and just starts, boosting a bit, and he feels this power. And this is when he feels like he's stronger than that one chick, but he doesn't feel as powerful as this one right here. This is when he's gonna tell her, "Hey, what is your name?" And she says, "My name is Akino Hiwajima." And Issei says, "All right, Miss Hiwajima, I'm actually gonna beat you right now, but I need to learn how to use this. So if you can give me a couple of seconds." Akino just says, "Sorry, but that's not what I can do." And Issei says, "Damn it, I really don't want to lose right here." And this is when she says, "Sorry, but I have to use it on you now." And this is when Issei says, "I gotta defend myself." This is when he gets hit in the back by the sword of Kiba, and gets punched in the face by Koneko, causing him to try to get up as much as he can. He can't actually power through it. And this is when he goes and tells BT, "Is there any way I can win? Any way at all?" And this is when BT says, "Seeing how you're about to get hit by Kiba, there's no way you can actually do it unless you use those pieces." And Issei says, "I might as well lose the battle so I can win the war. Thanks, buddy." This is when BT says, "No problem." Now, after that, Issei basically looks at, Koneko and says, "I know her feelings, right?" And basically gets kicked in the head, causing Issei to pass out. Issei looks up in his room and is actually getting healed by Asya. Asya and Asya and Mathilde are right there helping him, and this is when she says, "Geez, Issei, you should have told us to help you out. I understand you have these powers, but look at you. You got beaten." And Issei says, "Yeah, I got beaten, but I wanted to test out my strength. See how strong I could actually become." This is when Mathilde says, "Come here," and gives him a kiss on the head, saying, you have to use us. You have to let us heal you and protect you in the fight. You may not be our king, but you're someone who we have to, strive to become." This is when Issei says, "I could have healed myself, but even if I healed myself for a second, I wouldn't have been strong enough to get up after getting kicked in the head. So what I'm trying to say is that I need to use those pieces." And this is when Mathilde says, "You heard what they said. You heard what Sir Lucifage says. You may be stronger than normal human, and even faster and better at being than a normal human, but you're right now at the uppermost limits of your strength." And this is when Issei says, I know this is my fault. Should have gone stronger, but I need to use this when I know I have to use it." And this is when Mathilde says, "Get some rest. We'll help you out with your training. We can at least help you use your abilities even more better." This is when Issei says, "Thank you." And Mathilde says, "Don't think we actually forgive you for this." Now, after that, 14 days are the 2 weeks are up. Issei and the others are actually ready to go toe to toe with Riser. Issei tells them, "We're gonna fight them, and hopefully we can protect Rias. Not only that, hopefully Big Bro can see this and see me actually beat the floor with him." Give me a second here, people. Now, okay, so when the battle's about to start, everybody from Sursax to, well, Riser's father and mother, everyone's there. Now, Issei gets ready, and he actually tells Asya to hold on to these and give it to him when he knows exactly when the time is right. And Asya is kind of scared of what these are. And this is when Issei says, "Remember, give them to me, and I'll use it." Now, Asya says, "Okay," and is being given a small little bag full of stuff. Just a bag, like it's like a little small black pouch. And Issei just looks at her and says, "Don't worry, you should have trusted me about this." And Asya says, "You're right, I should trust you." And this is when Issei looks at Mathilde and says, "Alright, you may not be able to use your light magic like you used to as a fallen, but because of the powers that you're given, you at least have much more abilities at your disposal. Doesn't mean you should run off and look at them thinking that they're easy prey." Mathilde looks at him and says, "Alright," and gets ready to join the peerage. Rias looks at him and says, "I hope you know what you're doing, Issei. We have, you may be the only person that can actually defeat Riser, as you told us beforehand." And Issei says, "Yeah, I already know." Now, this is when he says, Mathilde, go with Konako and Kiba. They're gonna go to the gym." And this is when freaking Mathilde says, "Alright, Kiba, Konako, and Mathilde go to the gym." And this is when Issei, Akano, and Akano go and try to sneak past their defenses. And this is when Asya and Rias look at them, and Asya and Rias looks at them, and Asya says that she's a healer, so no matter what, she could heal him from pretty much any damage. This is when Rias says, "I hope your friend knows what he's doing." And Asya says, "I know he could do it. Have faith in him. You should too." And this is when Rias says, "I don't know about that." And this is when all you see is Issei and Akano just flying and trying to find a couple of people that are going to attack them. This is when all they hear is Grimmery Knight gone. One rook from shit. I forgot how to say it. No, Rias's knight gone. Rias's rook gone. Rias's pawn is gone. And this is when Issei is just looking at them, looking at the gym, and they just see that it's been exploded. And they realize that there's a woman over there, and it's the Riser's queen named Ubaluna, or something like that. Rhea says that they decided to attack they decided to attack knowing that we were going to try to take it. And this is when Rhea says, "This is not going well." She's kind of just getting scared a bit. Asya says that we might as well go and try to find the others. And this is when Issei sees the three pawns. One of them, three of the pawns, one of them is a twin, two of them are twins that have chainsaws, and one of them has the stick or that Chinese outfit in the I forgot what it's called. It's a staff. This is when Issei basically starts walking towards them, saying that you must be the ones that are sent to kill us or attack us. This is when they say you're not going to live you're not going to be here when we're done with you. This is when one of the girls tries to stab Issei with the chainsaw, but Issei grabs it, and even when one of the girls tries to turn it on, Issei just crushes it, causing the twin to try to attack him from behind, but Issei basically uh, turns intangible and goes right behind her and actually just hits her in the head, causing her to get knocked out. And this is when Issei just dashes towards her at full speed, punching her in the stomach, grabbing her and throwing her so hard at her other twin, those two become gone. Riser's pawn, two of Riser's pawn has retired. That's what it's called. Oh god, it's retired. Anyway, this is when the girl with the staff basically tries to hit him a couple of times, saying, "You're not going to beat me, so just give up." Now, this is when the girl tries to hit him with the staff, but Issei grabs it and pretty much takes it away from her, hitting her on the head, basically kind of giving her a concussion. And this is when he walks past her and says, "Akino, you have this." Akino actually gets happy about this and just electrocutes her until she retires. Give me a second here. Alright. So, after that, they keep walking until they actually found out that Rias and Asya start going and leaving outside. This is when the two rooks try to fight what's called Akino, but because of Issei just using a firewall to block their usually block their physical attacks, Akino takes to the skies and electrocutes them, but not before getting hit by attacked by Yubaluna. Now, this is when Akino is actually getting caught by Issei. Issei says, "I'm gonna heal you a little bit, but I need to protect you from the others." This is when he turns intangible with Akino and starts running as fast as he can to another place. This is when they go and Issei just starts shooting out two clones of himself, and Issei just says, all right. I'm gonna heal you up. We're gonna take care of that wound, and not only that, you should stay here for a while. Cover your, make sure that you hide from them. Oh shit. Make sure you, crap, I forgot how to say it, but he tells her to use her magic to defend herself and to stay hidden at all times. To come back when she's actually feeling ready. But not at this moment, since right now she got hit, and she should recover the strength until she gets ready for action. Now, while she goes, Issei just starts running towards one of the rooks, and this is when he kicks her in the face. And this one right here uses the kung fu style of martial arts, and basically Issei just starts moving around and saying this chick is way more different than Kona. Shit, sorry, I got the hiccups. He says that this chick is way more different than Konako. She uses Chinese kung fu, while Konako uses just a simple punch to the face and basic martial arts. But Issei, knowing this, just grabs her with the line that he has, grabs her with the grappling hook, and actually just channels in electrical and what is it called? Electrical. Sheesh. He's using the arc electricity to attack her, calling this little move right here might not be used all the time. Arc hook, arc arc wave. I don't know how to call it. It's just that channels in the electricity, causing her to be stunned a bit. But this is when the other rook tries to hit him, but Issei grabs her in the leg and pretty much just side sweeps her. After this, Issei grabs the kung fu rook, and this is when he starts choking her out. Now, this is when Issei basically tries to dodge, but he used his right side that, or not his right side, he used his left side that doesn't actually have anything, and he can't actually block, so he gets kicked in the head. This is when Issei grabs a ball that he found. He grabs a ball. It's a basketball, so he throws it at the girl. This is when Issei just starts to become intangible and just goes towards her, causing him to just bash her in the freaking stomach. And this is when the girl starts coughing up, throwing up a bit. Issei grabs her and just starts using his his flame wall, causing her to be burned on her back. And her starting to try to get up, Issei, with the 2 points of his fingertips, uses a current from the ground, waving it up in the air afterwards, like if he was to do, just, how do I say it? If anybody's ever played Ronin, he grabs the, what's it called? He grabs his 2 fingertips and lays it down on the ground and then lifts it up as if electricity is coming up in a wave, which is known as arc wave. So, after doing the arc wave, the girl that's with the face mask gets hit, and not only that, the girl with the Chinese martial arts gets hit as well. After both of them are on the ground, causing them to be, well, electrocuted. Now, Issei is actually getting tired out a bit, saying that he has to keep going. If he can keep this up, destroying 3 pawns and a couple of rooks actually gives him an advantage, but they still have pawns, they still have knights, and they still have Yubaluna and Riser and one of the bishops. It's still a 4 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 4 out of 6. Give me a second here. Alright. So this is when the rest of the pawns, at least it was the 2, I did the 2 with the chainsaws and also the girl with the stag beetle on her head. Not only that, there's the 2 other pawns that are twins, plus the 2 maid-looking ones, and after that, one of the other ones. So, by technicality, it's around 5 people. No, 6 people. So, while that happens, Akino actually takes down 2 because they actually found her. But since they're not the strongest, they lose against her, you know. But she still needs to recover a little bit more before she gets into the fight. But with the rest of the pawns, and actually with one of the bishops, they actually get taken down by Rias and Asia. See, Asia's learned a little bit more about healing magic, but she's also learned how to defend herself just a bit. She uses what is it called? She uses the thing called the Twilight Healing, but she's learned how to create her own firewall. Now, why does she know this, and how does she get it? Well, the only reason why she's gotten it is because Issei has the ability to create something called connection. It's one of the main abilities, or one of the greatest abilities that BTs ever given. It's basically whatever power you have, I have a little bit of it, and whatever power I have, you have it a little bit. So basically, he takes a little bit of people's powers, whoever he's connected to, and since he's connected to Matil, and also if Asia's connected to Matil and Issei, then she has a bit of holy magic with fire and her healing. So by technicality, Issei has a cheat. So Asia takes down one of the bishops, and Rias takes down the rest of the pawns. The knights are a different story, since they do try to attack, but Issei actually found Rias, and with both of their powers, they take them down easily, because Issei just shoots down an electrical arc wave, and Rias shoots down electric destruction, causing the two to just charge through and hit one of the knights, while Issei gets the grappling hook and shit. He says like, get over here. Basically, he pulls off a scorpion and causing her to fall towards their knees, and Rias just basically shoots her down, causing them to actually go ahead. But this is when Issei starts going. What is it, Ron? Give me a second here. Okay, sorry about the people taking care of my little nephew right now, but yeah. So, oh yeah, I forgot to say I have a little nephew now. It was just a little side note. He was born probably around this month, around the 3rd. His name is Elijah. But yeah, glad to have him. But anyway, on to the story here, people. So yeah, so Issei and Rias basically take them out. This is when Ubaluna is right there saying that she's gonna fight Akeno, and because of how strong they got in, they're actually much more better, or at least they're not as weak as people as they would have been in the anime. Now, while she's fighting, Ubaluna goes ahead and fights Akeno. Since Akeno decided to actually join in the fight, since she knows that sooner or later they're gonna have to deal with her and the rest of the peerage, she makes an effort to go, and those two fight. Now, Issei and Riser, Rias and Asia, they go they go fight. This is when Issei goes up the roof, seeing where Riser is at, seeing that Riser's just standing there, ready for a fight. This is when Issei looks just for a second, and basically sees that Ubaluna is actually fending off against Akeno, but aiming a blast towards Rias. Issei sees that she's attacking the house, but he has to get to Rias as fast as he can. This is when he grabs her and basically grabs Asia, but it's too late. He explodes. Well, the whole building explodes, causing them to actually jump off the window but get hit in the aftermath. Now, Issei is on the ground right now, and basically Akeno is on the floor, still in pain. Ubaluna is grabbing Asia. Riser is grabbing Issei. Rias is on the ground right now, breathing heavily, while she sees Issei getting punched a couple of times. This is when Issei looks at him, saying that this was kind of cheating, wishing that he could have beat him up. He could have just knocked him down with his bare hands. Riser laughing at him, saying, "If you're so strong, why don't you fight me yourself?" and punches him in the head. This is when Issei grabs his face and does what he did to Donaseek, and sorry about that. Grabs Riser's face and just uses a firewall, burning it until it's nothing but besides it's headless. Is all I'm trying to say. Ubaluna is actually shocked, but is actually relieved after finding out that realizing that Riser can regenerate. After that, Riser says that actually hurts a bit. Now let me show you mine. Punching him square in the chest, causing him to actually get him the heart and ripped out a second time. Issei is on the ground. Rias is basically, what's it called? Rias is on the ground. Issei is on the ground, and she sees this, and Asya is right there crying because she feels that connection with him is severed. Give me a second here. Alright, so I'm sorry about this, people. People just be calling me too many times. Now, what happens is Issei is on the ground. He's not faded because nobody that's dead actually fades. What happens is Issei is like just shut down for a second until Asya heals Rias long enough to actually get up and grab Issei, or not Issei. Asya grabs Issei and actually pulls him away. This is when Rias basically is right there and goes off with him. Rias goes off with Issei and Asya, and this is when Riser says Ubaluna, go get them. Ubaluna says, all right, but this is when a bunch of electricity is being thrown at freaking, Riser, causing Ubaluna to actually get shocked and actually retire. Now, Riser says, I'll deal with those three later. Now, Miss Hiwajima, am I right? Well, let's say me and you have some fun for now. This is when Issei and the others are going somewhere on the ground, in the ground right now, trying to hide. And this is when Asya tells tells Issei that he's gonna be all right. Tears in her eyes right now because she didn't think that this could possibly happen, and she actually starts trying to chant a couple of words. But this is when Ria stops her and says, "What are you doing? He's dead right now." And Asya says, "He's dead, I understand, but he could possibly survive this." Ria says, "From what?" And this is when Rias tells her, Rias is being told by Asya that he could probably live from whatever this bag is gonna give him. And Rias says, "You're not making any sense." Asya explains to him that Surzex gave him this bag containing these pieces, something about them being called hold on here. Wicked pieces? Wicked pieces. And she says, "Wicked pieces?" And she says, "What kind of wicked pieces did he give him?" And this is when she actually says that all of these. And she says, "All of these." And this is when she just dumps out oh shit. Sorry about that. She dumps out 8 pawn pieces that are fully blood red, or blood red with a bit of purple in it, and a queen piece too. This is when she says, "There's no way. I can't believe this. This is impossible. Nobody's ever obtained these many pieces within themselves at any point in devil history." This is when Rias tells her that this could possibly just this could possibly just be a lie. He probably just needs one devil piece, and it could help him out. Now, Asya says that he was told to just use all of them because of the potential he has, and Rhea says, "Are you sure he's gonna be okay?" And Asya is still crying, saying that it's Issei. Issei's gonna survive no matter what. This is when Rias sees that not Akano, Rias is scared, or Asya is scared, and this is when Rias is basically being grabbed, and Rias sees that it's Riser. Riser actually finishes with Akano. We'll get to what's called Issei and Issei being resurrected, but what happened with Akano and Riser, these two were fighting until he says that you kind of remind me of a fallen angel with the way she kind of looks, and Akano says, "What do you mean?" And this is when Riser says, "Don't be foolish. I could see that you have this scent of a fallen. Not only that, the power that you have kind of reminds me of somebody that fought beforehand." And this is when Akino says, "How do you know?" And this is when Riser finishes off with, "Because I know who I fight. I just decided that you were not strong enough for me to care about any longer." And this is when he says, you will tell me everything about yourself when I'm done with this game." This is when Akino says, "I won't allow it." And this is when these two clash off again until Akino is basically tired out. Riser says that you're finished and basically shoots her with fire, causing her to, well, retire. Now, the reason why they didn't hear this was because, well, Rias was basically focused all on Issei to notice what had happened. Now, what happens is Rias shoots off some demonic magic onto him, or some of her destruction magic on her, on Riser. Shit, man, I'll keep screwing up too much. I'm sorry, people. Alright, so that happens. Issei is being resurrected by Asya, and this is when Riser says, "Why would you resurrect him at this late in the game? Even if you were going to, I won't allow it." This is when Riser basically keeps fighting with her, and while they're in the air, Riser notices that he has some weird energy flowing around him, and this is when he sees that there's a lot of chess pieces on his chest, and he realizes that he's being resurrected. But what makes him actually angry is the fact that these chess pieces are wicked pieces, and he says there's no way that he can possess this much potential, even as a human with two sacred gears, and tries to shoot at Asya, but Rias actually blocks it, getting hit and falling down to the ground. This is when all they see is basically somebody catch her, and Riser sees that Issei's looking at him with this killer intent that he hasn't seen before, that he hasn't seen in a long time. This is when Issei says that you're gonna actually go die from this. Not go die from this. I'm gonna take you down, Riser. And this is when Asya and Mathilde feel this energy coming out of what's called Issei, and this is when he's trying so hard to contain it, but he says, "Balance breaker." And Issei is basically given this arm by BT. BT saying, "Issei, I have constructed this from all the power that you've given me. The power that you have given me has allowed me to create this arm very fast at high speeds. If you want me to say it like that. Now you have both of your arms. Not only that, you have powers that the Red Dragon Emperor can only give you. Issei is saying, so he's now, yes, he has something that you could use against Riser. Balance Breaker. Issei says, what's his Balance Breaker? And this is when Drake says, Balance Breaker. A form known as Scale Mail. Once you use it, you'll have a full armor set that's made out of dragon armor. And because of the way I look, you'll have red and green on you. Couple of gems, and you'll look badass. This is when Issei says, that's pretty much all I need to hear. And this is when he's about to say Balance Breaker again. But BT says, sorry about that. BT says, do not use it yet. This is when this is when Drake says, huh? What are you talking about? Answer me, robot. This is when BT says, of course. Sorry about that again. This is when BT says, of course. Because of your because you now possess two balance breakers, you can't just use it all at once. You must take time for it. I have a way to do it to where you don't have to sacrifice any of your life force. Drake says, we don't want him to kick the bucket too easily now. That would be actually embarrassing for the strongest user of this form. How should I say it? Because you're the strongest one that I ever seen in using Balance Breaker, because you possess two of them, known as Sacred Gears, we wouldn't want you to kick the bucket too easily, now would we? This is when he starts laughing. He says, alright, I want to hear this out. This is when BT says, okay, it's called Titan Core. This is when BT says, you never told me about this. What is it? And this is when BT says, Titan Core. When the percentage of my strength is used to maximum, we can release something called Titan Core, which will give us these special abilities for a short amount of time. But because of the way you and I work, we can give him a Titan Core that will be faster and stronger than anything else. Essentially giving him the same abilities as you would in Scale Mail. Now, the armor I decided to give him was actually this. Was this one right here. Known as Titan Core, Dragon Armor. Because if he was to use Scale Mail at this very moment without actually training with the dragon, it would actually use up his life force even though he has the energy to give it to him. Since he hasn't trained with Drake at all, and he's only just used the arm once, it would actually just pretty much it will destroy Issei from the inside. So Issei basically turns into this, and he looks at Riser, saying that you're still gonna lose. Riser looks at him, telling him that there's no way, even though he's stronger now, he won't be able to beat him because he's a phoenix. And Issei says, "Watch me." And this is when Issei shoots out two grappling hooks from each side of his hand, or two grappling hooks from his hands. Now that he has his arms, he can use the abilities at a better rate. He shoots himself high up using two of his dashes from 20 miles per hour. Now with all the abilities he has with Wicked Pieces, he's given around 100 miles per hour. it's not anything. It's not anywhere near Mach speed, but it's still fast, causing him to actually kick him in the chest from 100 to 400 miles per hour, making him even faster. I think that's Mach. No. Mach speed, I believe, is 600 miles per hour. But because of that, Issei kicks Riser with the force of a freaking bullet, with a bullet train, times two. At least with the force of a bullet train, causing Riser to throw up and say that he's gonna regenerate. Issei punches him in the head, causing him to knock out his technically knock out his head. This is when Issei just starts flying towards Riser and grabbing a red little ball of energy, having electricity come out of it, just shooting at a Riser, causing him to explode upon impact. Riser starts regenerating once again, but Issei kicks him in the stomach, causing him to basically hit through a wall. And Issei looks at him, saying, "Why don't you regenerate some more? I want to keep knocking you down until you don't have any regeneration left." This is when Riser says, "How foolish can you be? You really think the regeneration of the Phoenix clan, is anything to laugh at?" And Issei says, "No, but I know that you're something to laugh at." Now, this is when Riser starts going towards him and tries to fight him. Issei blocks one of the hits and punches him square in the face again, causing him to knock out his head. So people just see him getting decapitated twice. This is when Drake tells BT how powerful is his Titan Core. And this is when BT says, with Titan Core, everything can be regulated to a point where you can handle it. To go over Core would be something else. Drake tells him what's an overcore. And this is when PT says, the point to where where you give every single bit of yourself, even your whole soul, out to fight someone. It's something that the Titans can do. And this is when Issei looks at him with eyes as blue as, well, I don't know. He has very blue eyes. If you were to compare, say Naruto's eyes, but even brighter than that. I don't know how to explain it, but Issei basically gets out of his dragon armor, looks at him and says, "I'm going to use something that I just learned now." And this is when he grabs his fist, raises him up in the air, and slams him down with the force of a bus. If it was to fall down 60 miles per hour, that's how it would feel. Causing the freaking earth to turn into, causing the ground to basically shoot up in flames. Riser actually getting burnt by this after he starts flying off, saying, "What's happening to my skin? It's even hotter than my flames." And Issei looks at him and says, "This is called thermite. It's not as hot as your flames, but when it fuses with the abilities that I have and the magic I have with fire, you're going to feel it no matter who you are." This is when Riser says this is impossible. He shoots out so much fire towards Issei that Issei has to dodge this. But with Issei grabbing the sword that he had beforehand, because he always has a sword within him, or at least he has a sword that BT gives him, he starts running towards him and starts to point it towards Riser at top speed, chasing after him and stabbing him through the gut. And this is when Riser says that even if you stab me, I'll just take this away from you. And this is when Riser tries to pull it out, but he says he can't pull it out. it's somewhat he's not unable to do it. This is when Issei says, "I'm actually making sure that that sword is." Oh, hold on, give me a second here. Okay, so he tells Riser that this sword actually is very heavy because he's using a sword that's actually as heavy as I don't know. It's a real heavy sword that the Titans used from that the Rodin at least used, saying it's somewhere between around 10 to 20 tons. This is when Riser says that how could he carry it, and it's because well Issei didn't make it he didn't make it like 10 tons heavy, and it's because he let go that the sword won't be able to be moved by anyone unless they're very very strong. Riser's getting like angry and scared of him, saying that how could a low class devil who just turned into one out of a human uh, have any chance? How could he be being best by a freaking human? And Issei grabs him and starts to charge up electricity towards his mouth, or not his mouth, his chest. This is when he says, "Your biggest mistake was to fight me. Your biggest mistake was to go after her. But your biggest mistake out of all this was your foolish pride." And he basically just shoots out a freaking, you know how when Issei used the dragon, I forgot what it was called, his Longinus mode. Remember when he becomes a big giant and a giant dragon and opens up his chest to reveal that there's like a core within it to just freaking shoot a big energy blast. That's something like that. So yeah, when that happens, Riser's just left with a head, and Issei basically punches it to where it just knocks out, causing him to actually win the battle. And the one thing that everybody saw was Riser in total shock and horror. And if you guys didn't hear me, his whole body from the neck down was disintegrated. Now, Riser should be dead, but because of how the Phoenix clan works, yeah, since his head is still there, he's still gonna live. Now, I'm actually going to end it off here, and we're going to I'm going to at least start editing it and making sure that we get to the point in time where this is just a fight. We're going to talk more about the season 2 and 3 later on. So hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, you know, hopefully you guys liked it. I forgot that I wasn't supposed to say anything like that. But anyway, this has been the Fallout with a Fear. Bye.